Alcaraz arrives in Turin and begins training. Carlos Alcaraz arrived in Turin surrounded by an electric atmosphere. From the airport, the fans didn't stop chanting his name. His energy, his smile and his closeness made every greeting feel personal. The young player from Murcia appeared relaxed, confident and ready to face the challenge ahead. He's not only looking to win, but also to enjoy every moment of this tournament that brings together the best players in the world. After taking a few days to rest at home, Carlos Alcaraz is now in Turin to take part in the ATP Finals, a tournament he has not yet won. That will be an incentive for the Spaniard, along with the goal of finishing the year as world number 1. While the groups are still to be confirmed, the player from El Palmar has already trained at the Inalpi Arena in Turin alongside Taylor Fritz. For this training session on the center court in Turin, he worked with Taylor Fritz, world number 4, and someone he could face in this competition reserved for the 8 best players of the season. He was also accompanied by the 2 key members of his team, Juan Carlos Ferrero and Samu Lopez, first and second coach, who know there's no room for failure at this event. In the stands, Italian fans also welcomed him warmly, aware that they are witnessing the birth of a new era in tennis. The respect for his talent transcends nationalities. Even Sinner's fans, his possible great rival, recognize in Carlos a unique force pushing tennis toward a vibrant future. But behind the smile, there is determination. Alcaraz knows that this tournament can define his position as world number 1. The pressure is immense, but his positive attitude and passion for competition make him an example for the new generations. More than a player, he is a symbol of effort, joy, and authenticity. Every training session is a statement. He is ready to fight. Fans notice it, and they respond with an energy that multiplies his confidence. In Turin, everyone is talking about him, and the media follow him step by step, looking to capture that spark only true champions possess. Carlos Alcaraz will start the year facing Sinner. And to warm up for 2026, what better than the first duel between the top 2 players in the tennis world? The Spaniard Carlos Alcaraz and the Italian Jannik Sinner will play an exhibition in Incheon, South Korea, on January 10, 8 days before the start of the Australian Open, the first Grand Slam of the season. It will be the first time Sinner and Alcaraz face each other in this Asian country. Normally, neither Alcaraz nor Sinner usually play tournaments before the Australian Open, preferring instead to take part in exhibitions to prepare for the season's first big event. In Melbourne, Sinner will defend the title. The title still to be decided on the ATP Tour. Right now, the only thing left to know is how the rankings will end this year. Sinner, with his title at the Paris Masters 1000, took the number 1 position from Alcaraz, but he will lose it again next Monday when points from the 2024 ATP Finals are deducted. However, this Sunday a new edition of the ATP Finals begins in Turin, where Alcaraz will only need to win 3 matches to secure the year-end number 1 ranking for the second time in his career, matching Bjorn Borg, Stefan Edberg, and Leighton Hewitt. Carlos Alcaraz is finishing preparation these days in Murcia before flying this Wednesday to Turin for his 3rd consecutive appearance at the ATP Finals, November 9 to 16. At stake will be the Masters title, which only Manolo Orantes and Alex Corretja have won for Spanish tennis, and the year-end number 1 ranking. Jannik Sinner has regained the top spot in the entry rankings, but the classification that matters is the race 2025, where the player from Murcia leads Sinner by 1,050 points. That means Carlitos needs 500 points to guarantee leadership of the men's circuit. In practice, that means 3 wins in the group stage, or 2 wins plus a semifinal appearance. Sinner, champion on Sunday at the Paris Masters 1000, landed in Turin on Monday afternoon. Alcaraz will arrive at midday on Wednesday, leave his luggage at the hotel and, according to Marca, head to the Inalpi Arena for his first training session. Alcaraz breaks the bank, receives the biggest bonus in tennis. A stumble in the form of an early elimination in Paris doesn't completely tear apart what has been a great 2025 season for Carlos Alcaraz, pending what happens at the ATP Finals in Turin and the Davis Cup Finals in Bologna. The Spaniard won Roland Garros and the US Open, reached the Wimbledon final and won 3 Masters 1000 titles, Monte Carlo, Rome and Cincinnati. It is precisely this category, the Masters 1000, that has boosted his earnings. The ATP distributes $21 million at the end of the season among the 30 players who earned the most points at those events, and Alcaraz, who won the most tournaments this season, is the biggest winner. He will pocket $4.5 million, from which a percentage must be deducted for missed tournaments. In his case, Toronto, Madrid, and Shanghai. However, since he carried out media duties in Madrid, the reduction is smaller. Around €3.1 million will go to Carlitos for being the player with the most points, 3,420, in Masters 1,000 events. Sinner, despite winning Paris, remains behind the Spaniard with 2,300 points. It is worth remembering that the ATP Finals do not count toward this distribution. Alcaraz also earned the bonus for the most points in ATP 500 tournaments, which, although smaller, is still worth $1 million. The Spaniard won in Rotterdam, Queens and Tokyo, and reached the final in Barcelona. Sinner won the last Masters 1000 of the year and regained the world #1 ranking that Alcaraz had taken by winning his second US Open. However, Carlitos still has options to reclaim the top spot and end the year as the world leader. Reaching the semi-finals in Turin could be enough to pass the Italian, who must defend 1,500 points from last year's title. Alcaraz, who won only one match in 2024, defends just 200 points and has several paths back to the throne. Sinner leads by 250 points and Alcaraz needs 500 in Turin to avoid depending on the results of his rival. That translates into winning 3 matches in the group stage, or losing 1 in groups but winning the semi-final and reaching the final. For Sinner, the only guaranteed way to finish #1 is to win the tournament without losing a match. If he drops a match, he must hope Alcaraz wins none. Carlos Alcaraz makes a decision for next season. Finishing the year as world #1 is still the priority for the Mercian. But the planning for next season has also begun. And he has already confirmed his participation in Queens, a tournament that has always brought him luck. The tennis season is coming to an end and, although Carlos Alcaraz still has 2 big events ahead, the player from El Palmar is already planning next season with his team. With the Davis Cup Finals and the ATP Finals still to be played, he has already confirmed several events for next year. And one of them is the Queen's Club Championships in London. It is a tournament that brings great memories to Carlos, especially because he has won it twice, and every time he has played it, he later reached the Wimbledon final. The tournament is used by many as preparation for the British major. Alcaraz played here for the first time in 2023, when he won the title, and weeks later he also won Wimbledon. He returned in 2024, losing in the second round against Jack Draper. In 2025, he lifted the trophy again, defeating Yuri Lehecka. Queens is a very special tournament for me and one I look forward to every year. This year it was incredible to return and win my second title here, Alcaraz said. The men's tournament will be played from June 13 to 21, while the women's will be from June 6 to 14, with defending champion Amanda Anisimova already confirmed. Alcaraz's plan every time the grass season arrives. Queens, which has ATP 500 status, is one of the best tournaments to prepare for Wimbledon because the grass used is very similar to that of the All England Club. In Alcaraz's case, he normally arrives in London a few days after Roland Garros, rents a house near the All England Club and stays there for a month with the goal of winning both titles. Jannik Sinner explains the changes he made after the US Open to return to #1. 2 brilliant weeks for Jannik Sinner during this indoor hard-court swing in Europe. First he won the ATP 500 in Vienna, then he triumphed this Sunday at the Paris Masters 1000, tournaments in which he has shown he is a step above the rest, despite dealing with some physical issues due to the natural fatigue at this stage of the season. The 24-year-old Italian has once again shown since losing the US Open final to Carlos Alcaraz, and in his interview after defeating Felix Auger-Aliassime in Paris, he revealed what he has changed in recent months. "I'm not doing anything special, I just try to do what all other players are doing, trying to improve. I put a lot of effort into it and try to step out of my comfort zone many times, especially in training, to understand what aspects can help me in the future. Sometimes you don't play to win every point, but try to do something different. I try to play with the scoreboard, if I'm a break-up, I try to be more aggressive," he explained. Sinner said that being #1 was not his objective and that finishing 2025 at the top is not entirely in his hands. "It's not only up to me, but I'm happy to be there. I knew the opportunity was there from the start of the week. However, I try to give my best in every tournament I play, and in Turin it will be the same. The goal here was to maximize my potential day after day, and I achieved it. Now it's time to recharge and be ready for a good week of tennis in Turin," Sinner concluded.